Suppose the present space is a world of virtual truths and weaving real falsehoods. Have we failed to understand its lived potential? Have we failed to grasp its possibilities? Our future? Somewhere there is a will. Somewhere there is a way. Let the story begin. Once upon an uncertainty, there was a young woman who always wore a long cloak of the richest red, keeping her warm and dry, her skin healthy and smooth. It was given to her by old Granny Britton, the hard-working old woman who lived in the ever-decreasing woodland out of town. Little Red, as the young woman became known, was tasked with an important mission. Old Granny Britton had become weak and ill. Someone had to take a briefcase of important documents for her to sign. They all said, "For even though she is ill, there are still important things to do. And she will feel much better after signing these documents. There's even a slice of cake in there too, for when she's finished." So, Little Red found herself walking down a road filled with potholes amidst the trees, holding a heavy briefcase, words of warning ringing in her ears. Time is of the essence. Don't dally. Stay on the road. Be quick. Don't get any strange ideas. But it was a long walk from their house in town to old Granny Britton's in the middle of nowhere. She was tired of walking along the damaged road and began to take a shortcut. Little Red lifted up her eyes to the sparse canopy, and when she saw how the sun's rays glistened through the tops of the trees and saw some peculiar-looking fruits and flowers on the branches, she said to herself,
"Granny would be so happy if I brought her some flowers or fruits. It's still so early. I'll get there in plenty of time."
And without thought, she skipped into the woodland. There, she met the wolf, a gleaming shadow with stars in his eyes and hunger in his belly. He called,
"Good morning. What have you got there in your briefcase? Should I be concerned?"
"Important things. Old Granny Britton is ill, but needs to work. She needs these things to make her better."
The wolf smiled greedily at Little Red's reply. He must have old Granny Britton and this Little Red for himself. He asked Little Red where her granny lived. Little Red, unaware of the danger surrounding her, told the wolf everything.
"Just a few more minutes down this path surrounded by oak and nut trees. They keep the floods away."
The wolf hummed and stayed by Little Red's side. After a minute, he pointed off the path. He pricked his ears forward.
"What interesting trees. Perhaps old Granny Britton would appreciate fresh fruit."
The wolf chuckled as Little Red wandered off into the wood at his suggestion and continued onward to old Granny Britton's. When Granny answered his knock, the wolf pretended to be Little Red. He opened the door walked in without saying a word, and ate her up in one bite. Little Red dropped the flowers and fruit she'd collected for old Granny Britain's briefcase. The wolf. Where was the wolf? Had he not been concerned about the briefcase? She looked about the woodland. She was nowhere near the road. She was all alone.
Oh, no!
She started towards old Granny Britain's house and came across the negotiator. He said,
I'm looking for a wolf with stars in his eyes. He's been seen lingering near old Granny Britain's house.
Little Red nodded. Together they found old Granny Britain's house. The door was wide open, but no alarms were blaring. It was most peculiar. Little Red stepped through the door with a sweet hello, but received no answer. She set the briefcase down by the door. Old Granny Britain was there, looking very odd.
Why have you such long ears?
The better to hear you.
Why have you such large eyes?
The better to see you.
Why have you such large hands?
The better to take hold of you.
Why have you such a terribly large mouth?
Oh, the better to eat you up.
The wolf sprang up and then attempted to devour Little Red. She backed away, screaming. The negotiator ran in and thrust a briefcase in her hand. The wolf shrank away from the case, heaving and choking until old Granny Britain re-emerged and he collapsed in a small heap. Little Red made haste and opened the briefcase. The negotiator offered a fountain pen. The papers were signed, with which they bound the wolf's tongue, and when he woke, he wanted to shout and scream and run away. But the papers were so strong he could do nothing. And so he wandered silently away, defeated and small.